tutorial, we're going to make something like this. Okay, a monkey that rotates. Actually, the monkey isn't rotating, it's the camera that's rotating. Yeah. So today we're going to work on our camera movements. Right, we don't need this, so let's go ahead and delete it. We do need a circle. So put that down, S, and then 9. Okay, so a fairly decent sized circle. Yeah. Now what we need to add an empty cube. Okay, because our camera is going to go in this cube. It's called a rig. Okay, R-I-G. It's called a rig. Right, so we've got our empty cube there. Now we need to move our camera into it. How do we do that? We can kind of pick it up and try to move it in, but it's a bit difficult. There's an easier way. Alt-G will put it in the center, but we can see that the lens is not in the center. So again, so that was Option G to put it in the center, and then Option R puts it exactly in the center. Okay, so now the lens is in the center as well. The Option key is next to the Command key. Okay, so that was Option G and Option R. Now, using the Shift key, we're going to select the empty cube. Okay, so now I've got these two orange components. They're both selected. Now, I'm going to right-click, Parent Object. Okay, I'm going to make a relationship between these two objects. Keep Transform. I'm not sure why we need that, but we do. Now, so far, so good. Now I want this empty cube with the camera in it. I want that to go around this circle. So how do we do that? We go here to Object Constraint. When we've got the cube selected, and here Follow Path, and we want to follow our Bezier circle. And you'll see that it has snapped onto the circle. So far, so good. Right, I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that as lights, camera, monkey.blend. Okay, so I've saved that. Now it's time to add our monkey. Okay, so add a mesh, and then down here is our monkey. Very good. S to scale. Let's make him a little bit bigger. Okay, him or her, doesn't matter. While we've got it selected, let's color it. Okay, so materials, new color, use nodes, base color, whatever color you want your monkey. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay, so now, when we select our camera, and when we go into, where is it? When we go into constraints, we can move this offset, and it moves around the circle. Okay, so far so good. Now that's good, but the camera is still pointing down. Okay, and we want the camera to always be pointing at Suzanne. Yeah, the monkey is called Suzanne. I don't know why, it is. So select the camera, and then go here, Object Constraints, and we want to track it to, and then the target, of course, is Suzanne. Okay, now you will see that the camera is pointing directly at Suzanne. So what we can do, we can select our cube, and we can change this offset, and you see the camera is moving. It's easier if we go to this Z, which is directly above, zoom out a little bit. If we change this offset, we can see that the camera is rotating as the box goes round. Okay, really nice. Right, okay, so we're getting there. Now, I want to light Suzanne. Now this is tricky. So I click on the light and press G to grab it, and we put it down. Okay, now that looks about center. We can change our view, and I can see that actually the light is down here. Yeah? When I want it up here, I want it shining in his face, her face. So okay, so I've pressed Z. Okay, right. So now I can see that. So it's not exactly straight. So I'm going to pick it up again. Okay, good. All right, that looks about right. Yeah, rotate round. Looks about right. Good. Now, if I select my light, I've got it selected. Here, I want a sun. Okay, I want it shining directly in his face. Now again, this is a bit tricky to do. Yeah, but if we rotate around, we can move it. We can grab it, and we can move this yellow dot so that it's approximately straight in his face. There we go, straight in his eyes. Yeah, it takes a bit of work, takes a bit of practice. There's no shortcut. It's just something that we have to just play around with. But the good news is we're almost there. Okay, so let's move our timeline up. Right, okay, so now we're ready to insert our keyframes. Yeah. So we can have our starting cube wherever we want. And again, just click on your cube, go to Object Constraints, and we can move this. Yeah. So I'm going to start here. So what I'm going to do, I'm at frame 1. I've got my starting position. So where it says offset, I'm going to right click. I'm going to insert a keyframe. Okay, it inserts a keyframe. Then 100. I'm going to move the camera around so that it's now right in front. And I'm going to insert another keyframe. Okay, now all of these keyframes I don't need, so I'm going to throw those away. Okay, now when I press play, that should be just what we want. Yeah, super. Now let's look at it through the camera. Aha, so we can see straight away. The camera needs to zoom out. Yeah, now we've done this before. So I'm going to go here into camera, down to camera, and I'm going to change the focal length to something like 20. Okay, very good. 20 is maybe a bit too big. 25, okay, super. Yeah, looks really good. Now go back to frame 0. Press play. Okay, all right, looks nice. And if we go into render mode, now we should see, now we should see with the light on. Now we can see another problem. Yeah, the light is far too bright. Okay, so let's open the light. And then here, so strength is 1000. Far too bright. I don't know, 50? Also looks a bit bright, yeah? 20. Still a bit bright. Let's try 2. Okay, yeah. So that's dark, and then coming into a bit of light. Okay, good, yeah. Maybe 2's a bit too dark. Maybe 4 or 5. Let's try that. Okay, super. Looks nice. Okay, we're done. So we can save that. And now I just need to export it. So I'm going to go up to my scene. here. What was that? That's output properties. I'm going to change it to FFmpeg. I'm going to change the directory to my download, to my documents. I'm going to accept that. And I'm going to render and render animation. And that's going to give us can do, which is quite nice. So we go to the standard view, okay, so viewport shading. What we can do is we can click on this, which is rotate. Yeah, so we can grab, we can select our circle, and then with this tool, rotate. And what we can do is we can kind of rotate it. Yeah, and you can rotate it on that axis. You can rotate it on this axis. Yeah. You can rotate it on that axis. Yeah, whatever you want. So I'm going to undo each of those. Because what I want to do, and what I like most, is rotating it on this axis. Sorry, this axis, the green axis. Yeah? So I'm just going to do that, but you can do whatever you want. Yeah, you can try them. And that's quite nice because now when I go to camera view and I start, let's go back to the start. It goes from the bottom up and then a nice center view. Yeah, so from the bottom to the top and then in the middle. Yeah, and I think that looks really cool. From the bottom to the top and there we go. Yeah, so play about with that, play about with the rotation. Let me stop that. Let me get out of camera view. Yeah, so you select and then you've got this rotation tool and you can just move these however much you want. Oi, interesting. And then snap back into camera view and rotate. Super, look at that. Love it. Yeah. And if we want to get rid of these lines, then we can just go into render mode. Then we've got our lighting, and we can press play. Looks fantastic, yeah? And again, we can export that as you like. Very good, guys.